Okay, so as you can see right there, a little red wire, but I've got to put this all back together yet. And I found a safe place for that back there. Yeah, stuck on here. And on the other side is insulation, so there's no way it's going to short out, so I don't have to worry about a box. I had ground right down here. I didn't have to use the power off the lighter, so that's not a problem. So for all intents and purposes, if I can remember right, you know, sometimes when you're doing these things, it's such a simple hookup, but it begins complicated sometimes. Something so simple can become a royal pain in the ass. So I think I got it. The only thing I did do, and I gotta fix, is I took everything out of here, and there's a little circuit board that was in there, you know, to control the voltage, and I put it all in there and taped it all up, but I didn't add a fuse to it. So I'm gonna have to undo that and add a fuse to it. But I'm gonna do that tomorrow because I'm kind of done right now. So I'm gonna put that in there for now. The camera is hooked up, but it shouldn't go off unless the alarm is going off. Yeah, I do have. I have a state of confusion here. I wired the wire and the 12-volt delay timer to the alarm so that the camera is actually ready. Well, it's actually hooked up. I just haven't tried it yet. But in the midst of trying to get it all wired, I forgot a couple of important things. Fusing. I wanted to put a fuse in line. These are light timers and shakers, switches, bulbs, fusistors. I wanted to put a couple of fuses in line because there is, even though it's only going to be 12 volts when the alarm is going off, there is one. I wanted to have a fuse in it because the line travels the whole length of the van. So I don't want anything to happen as far as blowing up the alarm because I failed to put a fuse. Then when I wired the camera, excuse me, I want two of those if I have to. Yeah, I sure do. There we go. When I wired the camera, I soldered it to 12 volts, but again, forgot to put a fuse in line. I disconnected everything from the cigarette lighter plug, you know, the little circuit board, regulator and all that from the plug. And when I disconnected the plug, I therefore disconnected the little plunger in the hot side, which houses the fuse. So I ended up losing that fuse. So I don't need anything big. So I'm thinking, you know, nor do I need anything big in amps. So physical size and amperage wise, I don't need a whole lot. So I'm going to use those two. I just got to find a couple fuses for them. Go out there and disconnect the wires that I just connected, which is not a big deal. I could probably get it all done in 2 or 3 minutes. It'll take longer for the solder iron to heat up than it will for me to actually put these in line. And that's about it. So that's where I'm at. So without further ado, let me get this done and I'll be right with you. Well, I decided to come back out here and try to finish up on the hooking up of the camera here. I had it all hooked up, but I forgot to put the fuses in line, so what I had done was took those little fuses right there. I think you can see it because I can't see with the sun shining in the screen, but there's a little black fuse there connected to that red wire right about in their area. And I put one on that line because that's coming 12 volts off of the delay timer. And then the other one coming from the front of the vehicle, I put one out in front under the dash because that's going to have power coming back. So I wanted to naturally, if it was a short out, have it kill the power at the beginning. And that brought me to the use of a tool that I don't normally use all that much. And I had to put a center splice in the wire. Where am I? In the wire. You know, like right here. Up in front. I'm just using this as an example to show you. And normally I would just take a pair of strippers and I would take my other hand and I would just, you know, kind of just pull the wire back a little bit like that, you know, in the middle of the wire, and I can wrap. Well, if I can't get back there with one hand, with two hands to hold the other wire, you know, therefore it makes it a little bit tough. I'm not a big believer of these things. However, these will work because all you gotta do is get that wire in there. And if you do it slow enough and you have it set right, it does the same thing for you. It gives me that little splice right there that I needed. So I can wrap the other wire around it, solder it, tape it, wire tie it. So even though I'm not a big believer of these strippers, they do have a use in my book. Other people just use them a lot, I mean all the time, because it gives you that little nit that you need right at the end, and you don't have to worry about cutting through the wire. So they do come in handy to a lot of people. Just that I'm so used to using these, you know, and there we are, you know, and I can feel with my pinky where I'm at, you know, and that's normally what I use. And I've been using these, phew, Jesus, since the day I stripped my first wire. Yeah. So, but anyway, we're all done. Now it's just a matter of taping. I have to tape up that front piece, and I have to put a wire tie on it so that it doesn't come undone. So that's one of the reasons why I'm back here, because I wanted to find a small wire tie. And I'm probably running short on them because I've been using the bejesus out of them. So I'll be right back. The alarm triggered and the camera came on. However, it came on a few seconds later than I expected it to, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments on that. Luckily it's just turning a little variable, so I'm gonna set that back a little bit because it took approximately 7 or 8 seconds to go on, which was way too long. Now the camera's off, but because once you've hooked it up to power and turned it on, the switch seems to keep it in an on mode. So once it sees power again, it automatically turns on again, which is good. Now let me see here. If I turn that back there and just turn it about there, we'll have to try it. Okay, so let me activate the alarm. Let me hit the panic button. Alright, camera's on. Okay, now it'll start recording. Bam. And we're all set. Now I'll take that in and check it to make sure that it is recording, and we should be okay. But timer's going, so it should be recording. Turn the alarm off. Alarm is now off, and that'll turn off in just a second. It's still recording, which is okay, but it will turn off in a second, automatically, all by itself. So there it goes. See, boom, bang. So that's it. So now when it goes off, it's going to record. So now I can start trying to pick up some of the mess I have in here and get things somewhat back organized. And I got to run this wire here to get it up out of the way, which that's not going to be a big deal, but I guess we're pretty well done.